Hi, I'm Jenny Pace, and you're listening to the Better Business Podcast. This is the place for makers, solopreneurs, and product-based business owners to get tips, advice, and inspiration on running their business that's profitable, it's fun, and that's kind of what you want to be doing with your life. I can't wait to share my tips and ideas, to share book reviews, and to help you run a better business for life. Hello. It is podcast time. I'm really excited about today's episode, and it's a good reminder for me as well as for you. So let's dive into people pleasing. Is it possible to stop people pleasing and run a successful business? Are you ready? I imagine you can guess my response, but let's talk about it, because when we're in business, we need people to buy into us, right? We need them to like us to a certain extent. And there's a whole customer service arm to this conversation about people pleasing in business. So I'm going to talk about all of those things today. Here are my initial thoughts. People pleasing is a direct path to burnout because it always puts your needs last. And it always prioritizes customers, staff, friends, family, the lady down the road over you. The result of that people pleasing is that you, at some point, feel crap. And therefore, we lose all of your energy, all of your gifts, because you have been pleasing all these other people and prioritizing their mild preferences over your deep needs, desires, skills, talents, time, energy. It is a lose-lose, because you lose out on what you want and we lose out on you, real you, amazing, talented you. And I believe that true friends, true staff members, true customers buy into you, buy into your success and lack of burnout and your unique gifts and talents. And if they don't, then they don't deserve you and your work. Are you with me so far? Let's start off with a fairly clear position on people pleasing. Hopefully you're with me so far. I do feel pretty soapboxy about this. Let me tell you a story about someone I know. Let's call her Sally. Sally is a busy business owner and parent. She runs a business selling gifts and products and cards, and she is always very busy processing orders, replying to customers, and she really wants to, her business is paying the bills and it's doing well. She's always just busy. And she's never really quite growing, improving. She doesn't really feel happy or confident in her business. She wants to, but there's something getting in her way. Turns out that Sally is also a really active member of the small business community online. She loves to dive in, say hi. She loves to help people. She's really quick to help. And actually, she ends up spending hours daily just checking on everyone else, checking everyone else is okay, bending over backwards for her customers, speeding through an order, going to the post office early and then paying for first class post, even though the customer only paid for second, and spending loads of time just helping other people with their ideas for their business. But the thing is, she didn't have chance to grow her own business. And at the end of the year, found that she was still very much where she'd always been. Busy, 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 not quite as much money as she would have hoped, to be really comfortable, and hadn't really got as many new products, hadn't really spent as much creative time, still had these big ideas that she wanted to work on, but hadn't really got anywhere with them. Constantly felt like they were just over the horizon, just around the corner. Okay, so truth be known, Sally is a fictional combination of people, specific people that I know and have worked with and continue to work with. But the truth is, we all know someone like Sally, and we have often been someone like this. I hope that you can see that in this story, it is Sally's people pleasing, the bending over backwards, the getting distracted by other people's questions and quandaries and thoughts. All of that prevented her from having a successful business. So if we're asking the question, is it possible to stop people pleasing and run a successful business? This story, which is so familiar to all of us, is a good indicator that people pleasing prevents us from running a truly successful business on our own terms. It's time to stop people pleasing. And I want to say there's a difference. There's a difference between generous contribution to your community and people pleasing. I'm all for helping other business owners, being an active member of a group, supporting other women in business, supporting other creatives, sharing your knowledge. There is a difference between doing that in a thoughtful, intentional, boundaried way and just getting distracted by a Facebook group or an Instagram chat or a WhatsApp group. Very, very different. Checking notifications all the time, checking emails all the time, very different. You can consciously choose to go and support the people that matter to you, and maybe some of that would be choosing which people get to have your attention and just responding to everything all the time. So I will say that. And there is a difference between good customer service and bending over backwards. So why do we get caught up in people pleasing? It's ingrained with patriarchy, with white supremacy, with the way many of us had experiences in school. Our parents praised bias. If we made other people happy, we got praised for it. And that can be as subtle as, genuine acts of kindness. But it can also be how often you get praised for anticipating someone else's needs. And when you're a kid, I don't know about you guys. If you guys had a different experience to this, I want to talk to you. I want to know about it. But I was not taught the difference between just going and pleasing everybody and checking in with myself about my needs and what I wanted. I think we're taught as young children, to share and to make other people happy and to consider other people and empathize. And for me and for many of my clients, the empathy skill is way stronger than the self-interest boundary. I need to do this in order to get where I'm going. And that's really true for us as women. We are taught to take care of everybody else first. So if that's leaking into your business, let's not be surprised. Let's have compassion and let's see the system, the systemic culture that has got us to this point. And let us have the awareness and the self-advocacy to change the script, even if it's just a little bit. We also get caught up in people pleasing because of capitalism and consumerism. That idiom of the customer is always right. It is given to us over and over again, or has been given to us over and over again, because the customer's the one with the money. And so we need the money. Money is scarce. Therefore, I have to please the customer and make sure that they are always right. Oh, it's just such BS. And I love customers. I love humans. I want everyone to have a wonderful experience. And I want you to have a good experience too. If your customer is demanding or even just politely requesting something in case it's possible, and you are stepping over your own limitations and going way out of your way to meet that demand or request, that's a problem. And that customer isn't right. And sometimes, like, to be really clear, sometimes customers aren't shouty and demanding for us to people please. In fact, I think most of us know that when that happens, we step away. It's the, oh, I kind of just really need this as soon as possible. Could you possibly? And you say yes because you feel sorry for the customer, or you want them to have a lovely anniversary or birthday or whatever it is, or you want to help them out of a sticky spot. Because if you were in a sticky spot, you'd want to be helped out too, except it perpetuates you actually being in a sticky spot because you're quickly doing something that requires longer than you have available, or you weren't clear about your express delivery options or your international delivery costs, and you're now overpaying so that it gets there and gets there on time because you don't want them to be disappointed, even though they should be paying. So this idea that the customer is always right, we can let go of that. It's not true. It may have been helpful in the 80s or 90s or whenever it appeared to maybe help male car salesmen, I'm guessing. This is not, I have not validated this origin story of this phrase. But that's my impression, that it was there to help people who do not find empathy a natural state to be in, and maybe have not been taught it from birth, to have that position. Okay, why else do we get caught up in people pleasing? I think for many of us, I see this in my clients a lot, we genuinely are not sure what healthy boundaries look like, what the alternative to people pleasing looks like. It hasn't been modeled. We've got generations of pattern repetition when it comes to people pleasing, especially as women. As you know, put everyone else first. I have so many stories about that. don't even know where to start. But I think it's my little coffee cup. There you go. I'll have a little sip while I've interrupted myself. We genuinely just aren't sure what the options are. So those are just a few reasons why we get caught up in people pleasing. I'm going to also add to that like a lack of advocacy, not just the clarity on what to do differently, the alternative, but also just a lack of practical advocacy, especially in the business sphere. I teach marketing. I have my membership group and I teach customer profiling, and we do, big pieces of work on ideal customer. And in my Christmas plan course, we do a whole visualization about your ideal customer, which is really powerful. And we think about what they need and what they want. And of course, that is a significant part of business because, hi, we're here to help people, right? We're here to make their lives better. And yet that has to happen within this structure of you, of your needs, of your capacity, of your skills. I can list loads of things that lots of people need or want help with, want to be educated on and inspired by, but very easily you could not be the right person to do that. People need educating about all kinds of things and people want to learn about all kinds of things too. I am not the right person to come to for graphic design advice or inspiration. I cannot do that. I'm not here to fine-tune your design skills. Some of you listening, some of my clients maybe have needed that or wanted that as part of their personal and business development. And that's not me. Just because I see their need for it doesn't mean that I have to go and fill that need. And it's the same in business. Just because your clients, your customers might want something does not mean that you have to go and do it if it's not your thing, and also if it takes you beyond your capacity, your zone of genius, and what you want to do in your business. Okay, so what happens when it changes, when we stop people pleasing? You make money doing things you actually care about. You will not find success you really want by people pleasing, because by definition, you will step outside of your own definition of success, because you will step closer to other people's requests and demands of you that aren't about that definition of success. So you stop wasting time and money when you people please, and energy. Crucial energy, vital energy that we want back for our own dreams. And you really please the people that count. Not all the time, not with every request. If I was people pleasing around my 2-year-old, neither of us are going to really end up happy. She's maybe going to be momentarily happy a few times, but ultimately, if I let her do everything she asked of me, she'd get sick and probably fall down, and it would be a terrible, terrible situation for both of us. And I'm not saying that the entire adult population is making those kinds of requests of you or us or anybody, but you can see in that example, we have to reclaim our energy. You build a much stronger business when you stop people pleasing, and your brand is more cohesive and more unique because you're not stretching yourself, you're not bending over, you're not diluting the message by trying to be everything to everybody. There's another thing that I have found to be true, and this takes a little while, I have to say, when you are a people pleaser, and I still really struggle with this. Eventually, when you stop people pleasing, you will sleep better. It does not happen straight away. As you begin to unravel this habit, it will keep you up at night because your inner people pleasing fan, the inner people pleaser within you who thinks this is the only way forward, will keep you up at night telling you how you should go and send a different email and just meet that request. I am here to remind you that that voice has been planted within you by patriarchy, by habit, by all these things, and you don't need to listen to it. And when you kind of get into this rhythm of seeing the results because you actually are building something that you want to build rather than people pleasing all the time, when you actually reclaim that time and energy that you used to spend helping everybody else, you sleep better. You make better leadership and business decisions. It's really, really good. Okay, so a few suggestions for you. If this speaks to you as a people pleaser, you're in really good company, I promise. You can notice any orders that come in or inquiries that come in that make you despair, that make your shoulders slump forward and make you go, ugh. This is why I have a podcast, so that I can go, ugh, rather than trying to spell that out or articulate it in written words. Remove those products or increase the cost, because it might be that you're going, ugh, because you don't get paid enough to make it. But if you feel ugh anyway, it's time to let go. Another suggestion is to, if you are like Sally from earlier, or you find yourselves easily slipping into going into Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups and all the other places and helping other people, stop. And if you can't just stop, limit it to 10 minutes at a time, maybe twice a day. And if you take that second option of limiting it to 10 minutes, do your stuff first before you go there. Do not do it as your first thing of the day. That is a bad plan. That will keep you in the people pleasing. You can also do this if you have a team, if you have people working for you. I've done quite a lot of this with my clients recently. It depends where your boundaries are, but I had a client who had arranged a team meeting around a particular member of staff's preference, but it really, really wasn't working for her. She was finding that it cut straight into her best creative time. So she wasn't doing any of the product development work that she really needed to do to get the business going and to generate, next year's income, basically. And so, but because this team member had said, oh, can we do it at 10:30 rather than in the afternoon, she had said yes. And it's like, okay, well, just try doing it at a time that suits you. Make that request of your team, this person who you have given a job to. It's okay. It's okay to listen to their preferences, but it's also okay to honor your critical energy and time for the business, to honor that, to protect it. You can also look at having consistent messaging and policy and results around the things that catch you out. So if that's a customer service thing, like delivery, like personalization options and doing custom orders and taking commissions, you can be really clear and consistent in what is possible and available. And you can back up that position by following it through, by charging for express delivery, for being really clear with your customers about when they need to get things to you in order for you to deliver on time. Do that. Put in automations to do that. Get really, really on top of making that experience really clear so that you are helping your customer to get what they want. Okay, I have loads more suggestions, and I have loads more just tools on people pleasing and how to let go of it. I have loads more soapbox moments, obviously, as well. I am going to be running a workshop on how to stop people pleasing and run the business you actually want. If you feel like you would like to come to that workshop, that masterclass, it is going to be on Thursday, the 2nd of September, in the evening. And I will pop a link. You can go over to my website, thejennypace.com. You can head to the show notes, use the link in your podcast app to click through to the main podcast page on my website. And you'll find a place to register for that free workshop, how to stop people pleasing and run the business you actually want. I hope you will join me and start to reclaim some of that time and energy for you and for your business as well. And not only run the business you actually want, but also be in your zone of genius, be in your flow and creating the things you actually want to create and giving us the things that only you can give us. That's the dream. That's why we're here, building better businesses. So head to thejennypace.com/podcast and you'll find this episode, all the other episodes, and the link to register for that workshop. I'd love to hear what you think about this episode. I'd love to hear where you get stuck people pleasing. And especially if you're listening to this before the masterclass on the 2nd of September, come over to Instagram or jump into my emails and tell me about your people pleasing. It will help me to make that workshop really good. So I'm at thejennypace on Instagram, and you can totally come and chat to me about people pleasing. Really looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Join me for the workshop soon, and I'll see you very soon on the podcast. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Better Business Podcast. I would love it if you could subscribe so that you don't miss any of the new episodes coming out. And of course, share with any creative business owners. I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye.